Everybody, we are back. It is Taped Online. It is your favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders everything. We are live. You guys are new here. Already hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. You guys already know what to do with that. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. What's up, man? Everybody started getting in here. Are back. What's up, everybody? Start to file in here a little bit. How you guys doing today? It's a long drive for me. I just got back from Raiders camp. Definitely more interesting day today, for sure. For say that. Get some people in here. Let's wait till we get to 30. Yes, I did get caught in the storm. That was crazy. I also got caught in the storm driving back. About 3 of them. Yeah, man. Got some pads. Yeah, lots of players resting, injured. Yeah, me too, man. Like Monsu was crazy to drive it, especially on the freeway. And it's one from Arizona to Las Vegas is one lane. So, man. But yeah, today, we got about 30 people in here. I started going. So today was the day 3 of pads. I totally forgot about that yesterday. I mean, they only had 2 days of pads so far. And pads is the only time you could really evaluate defensive linemen and offensive linemen, and even running backs or even players like that. So it was day 2 of pads. So it was a very interesting day from that aspect. We talked yesterday about a lot of offensive line, a lot of defensive line. I didn't get too much eyes on the defensive line, so I made sure today that I basically watch them. Right, I make sure I watch a lot of those matchups. I watched a lot of defensive line. All right, defensive tackles. Kind of give you guys a report on that. There's a lot of interesting things that happened today, in my opinion. Especially even with the offensive line and the movement of it. So, no, I don't go through Laughlin, man. I take the 93 straight down or something like that. It's crazy. It is crazy. Yeah, and I feel like they're responding to McDaniel as well. I really feel like they're responding to him in a good light. I feel like the team is really upbeat, right? I think with Gruden being how much of a hard ass he was, I think McDaniel's can be a hard ass a little bit with this group, but I didn't see too much yelling or anything like that. Nothing crazy this week. I didn't see the Kaiser injury live, but I did see him walk off. So, But, first things first, let me get into I know you guys want to talk about defensive tackles yesterday. So, I made sure to watch those. And I will say that from a depth standpoint, I think they're, with Bilal Nichols out, and Jonathan Hankins, with him out too, as well. You're seeing a lot of Kendall Vickers. You're seeing a lot of Kyle Pecco. Andrew Billings got a lot of run. He's getting a lot of run right now with those 2 guys out. So, I mean, that's really the starting group right now. And those guys are changing all around. So you got Kendall Vickers. He was defensive tackle right now. And, they mixed in like Jerry Green. He played some inside defensive tackle as well. Jerry Green, he was with this team last year a little bit, but I mean, he's back, but he's playing more defensive end, but he played a little bit of defensive tackle today. So it's mostly Kyle Pecco, Andrew Billings, and Kendall Vickers inside. Now, I mean, I thought Vickers had a really good day. I thought, he definitely got a lot of penetration when pass rush wise, right? He was definitely getting some penetration. He had some good wins on the one-on-ones that I really thought that he looked explosive rushing the passer. Now, against the run, I mean, they're getting pushed around, those defensive tackles. So, they were getting pushed around a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. They were getting pushed back. There were some big runs from Zamir White and Josh Jacobs. Those guys had some big holes. Let's just say that. you know. So uh, so it's hard for me to say where the defensive line is going to be, because not the defensive line, just the defensive tackles, because Bilal Nichols and Hankins aren't there. So I mean, obviously those guys are going to be the starters. I mean, I think maybe Kendall Vickers will get some run. I think Neil Farrell is going to get some run as well, and I think Matthew Butler is going to get some run. I thought Matthew Butler looked really good in one-on-ones. Nobody could block him in one-on-ones. So that tells you his ability as a pass rusher. And I know he's going up against a lot of the backup guards, and not really like Parham or those type of guys, but he was eating those guys alive. They could not block him. So, I mean, you could tell where his upside is, right? His upside is pure rushing the passer. And I think he can do that day one. Because when him and Farrell came in and they were in the rotation against the second team, I mean, Farrell was holding up in the run game, but then you see Butler getting pushed back a little bit, right? I mean, and that was kind of his MO coming out of college, is that he was a pass rush guy, didn't play the run that well, right? And you really see that when he's one-on-ones. He was eating guys alive. I mean, it was pretty embarrassing. He was embarrassing guys out there. So from a pass rush standpoint, I really feel like he can help this team in some sub packages if they can get him going, rushing the passer, and just letting him go where he doesn't have to worry about, gapping or playing one gap or whatever, or playing two gap or whatever he has to do as a defensive tackle. He can just go after the you can just rush the passer. To me, it's somebody that in sub packages you could bring in, if it's third down, it's 3rd and 10, bring in Matthew Butler, put him inside, and just let him get after the passer, right? And I feel like he could do that day one, in my opinion. I really feel like he looked really fresh from that aspect in the one-on-ones. Looks really good. A couple other guys that I saw look pretty good from the defensive. I mean, of course, Max was eating people up. Max is ridiculous. He won. He's beating everybody like crazy. He put a spin move on a Luminor, man, and left Luminor in the dust. I think Luminor is still thinking about that spin move that he put on, that Crosby put on him in the one-on-ones, because Crosby was dominating the one-on-ones. He got Brandon Parker. He pushed Brandon Parker back into the quarterback. If there's a quarterback there, he pushed him all the way back into him. So Max Crosby, he's legit. I thought Malcolm Coots had a good day rushing the passer too. In one-on-ones, he won a lot of the one-on-ones. And he ended up going against Illuminor a little bit too. So that was interesting with them. But defensive end, the depth is a little interesting to me, in my opinion, because I mean, Farrell's not out there, Chandler Jones isn't out there, and it's mainly the two guys that you probably going to see on Sundays the most is Kuntz and Crosby, right? Those are the guys you hear about the most, right? It's not going to be. I mean, you don't want Jerry Green getting at the passer. I know Kyle Frackle. I mean, maybe they try to go somewhere else. In my opinion, I think they might have to start hitting this waiver wire. Maybe somebody gets cut later on that they might be looking into. But I don't know about D Ford. I saw that name out there yesterday, but I'm not sure about that. He's just so injury prone, but he would help as a depth piece, right? So I think the defensive line, I see what I think of the overall depth. I am worried about the depth a little bit. You especially in today's game, I think having a great defensive line is important. If you think about all the best defenses in the NFL, if you think about them, they all have great defensive lines, from the Niners to the Titans. It goes, right? They have great defensive lines. And, I think they have a lot of potential from the young guys, right? And Kendall Vickers, he has potential as a pass rusher as well. But, you want, I guess they're depending on Bilal Nichols. I haven't got to see Bilal Nichols. He was out the previous day too. So I haven't really got to see him in person. So I don't know how he's going to look, but I just know from the tape, I mean, he has some potential, but I mean, he has some good games as a pass rusher. So, it is there, but, as a full-time defensive tackle, it's going to be interesting to see how he goes, right? Let me see if we got any other questions here before I get into it. Was Crosby working both inside and outside moves? Well, actually, to be honest, I mean, all I saw from him was his usual moves. the spin move, right? And then you had a bull rush, right? It wasn't too much of, it's kind of basically more of the same moves you usually see from him, to be honest. So it wasn't too much different. I didn't see any speed rushes. I think one time when he, he when he did the spin move, he showed the speed rush and then came back inside. So I don't know. I mean, he is working on a spin move. Another guy that stood out to me, to be honest, was Deshaun Bowers. I mean, he was killing people over there. I mean, Deshaun Bowers won every single time he was out there in the one-on-ones. So, I mean, that was interesting, to see him win like that. And, he's somebody that kind of a journeyman type of guy, but he was killing guys out there. He was getting to the quarterback quick. And I know he's probably going against the third guys. He's probably going against the third guys, and he's been in the NFL for 6 years. So, and he was a LSU, type of player, had a lot of buzz coming out of college. So he has talent there. And, he was always one of my sleepers to make this team because he's played in the system. He knows how the defensive line works. So it was interesting. Now, I see some questions here. Let me get some of these questions before I move on here. Who was running with ones at the safeties? All right. Okay. You guys can't let this one out, but they're doing like 3 safeties at a time. So there's like three safeties, right? And, I see something about a star position. Trayvon Morag was in the slot a lot. So that's my little secret to you guys. Don't let that one out though, because they got mad at my article. But there's gonna be a lot of movement with the safeties. Let's just say that there's gonna be a lot of movement with the safeties. There's gonna be multiple on the field. It's gonna be a good day. For Amik, all those guys were out today. So Rocky Sin, Anthony Averett, and Amik Robinson all they were not out there today. So I mean, I saw the offenses they were passing all over everybody because they're going against backups. Devontae Adams and Renfro were killing people all day. Frost Monroe was killing people. Tyron Johnson, which was interesting, he was getting a lot of run with the ones over Mac Hollins today. I thought that was pretty interesting how that was going for him. So that kind of tells you where he's going, where he's moving to. When he's, Johnson's starting to get those runs with the ones, and you see Mac Hollins, he's eating into Mac Hollins reps with the first team. And he had a nice catch in the red zone. He looks really good. He looks really good, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I really feel like that if he keeps playing like that and he has the preseason I think he has, especially if he's going against twos and stuff like that, man, I think that he has a chance to do some big things, especially if he's a deep guy, man, and he could take the top off the defense. A lot of people talk about how Josh McDaniels is, really short passing. There's not a lot of deep threats in his offense, but when they had Brandon Cooks, man, they threw deep a lot. So if they had that guy there, you know what I mean? It can only help. It can only help, Let's see if I got any other questions here. Something Ryan is concerned for me. You think we have enough to hold up? That's what I'm saying. Hankins isn't out there. Billings did pretty good against the run today. He had a pretty good day against the run. But you put Andrew Billings out there. I don't know how excited you are about that. So, I mean, he did stop the run pretty well today. I thought the one position I want to call out, I thought the linebackers played really well today. They were all over the field, like Devon Diablo. They were doing some running back drills, and he was locking those guys up. He has a couple knockdowns today. He looked good. Devon Diablo looked really good. So so do all the linebackers. Jaron Brown, he looked really good, breaking a lot of passes, stopping the run, coming up, and the run is something he comes in with that kind of pedigree of not being a great run defender. I thought he had a good day. The linebackers look really good. To be honest, the starting 3, Diablo, Perryman, and Brown probably won't be out there that much because, like I said, there's multiple safeties out there. You guys can just think about, Jonathan Abram. If there's 3 safeties, you guys just put it together that way. That's what I'm going to say. seen anything I missed. News for sign. I talked about the little bat. Yeah, I think they should sign somebody like Sue or somebody like that. I think they need to do that for sure. And I saw Darius Philon. I think that would be a good guy to look at. Is Chandler Jones hurt? See, I don't know how bad he's hurt. Josh McDaniels wouldn't talk about it. Really wouldn't give any like particulars about it, anything like that. But I mean, he's a veteran, so even if he was nicked, in my opinion, if he had a little nick up, I'm sitting him out. I mean, he's played in this defensive line system before. He's been in the league for like 12 years. Him sitting out is not as a big of a deal as Cleveland Farrell sitting out, right? Like, why isn't Farrell out there? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of more worrisome for me. And those guys aren't really taking the spot from him, in my opinion. But, Deshaun Bowers is coming, man. I'm telling you, he had a good day today. He caught my eye. So, if, Farrell, they like Deshaun Bowers. They know him, right? He's been around them. He's been around Josh McDaniels. He's been around that staff. They know him. So, if he starts to, get some play and starts to make some noise a little bit, then, I don't know. I'm more worried about Farrell than anything else if it comes to anybody else, The red zone offense, yes, it does. The red zone offense does look a lot better. It just looks more creative, a lot more routes, a lot more options, a lot more players moving around. They do a lot of back of the end zone stuff. A lot of that. They're working that a lot. So today was a red zone day. So that's a good question because today they worked on the red zone like most of the day today. So, I mean, it is a focus for them, obviously. And they were getting it done today. And they had a really good day there, to be honest. All right. What else we got here? So we got some porn here. We got some porn spam going. All right. I do want to talk about the offensive line a little bit. There was a little bit of movement. I said on Twitter that I can't even pronounce his name. Grasso, Harrelson, something. He was getting some run when they were doing their little run game earlier. He was rotating in. Like they had the backup offensive linemen doing other drills, and they just had the first team but they had like Leatherwood and Parham and Grasso. They stayed. So they were the rotating guys, and Parham didn't play center at all today. So so you saw Grasso play center, who's actually the backup center. You saw him play a lot more center, a little bit. So if you saw him playing guard too, he came in, he was playing guard, but then he didn't play with the first team for the rest of the practice. So so it's so interesting what they're doing with this offensive line. Just moving guys around. Because Leatherwood is still the main backup. I thought Leatherwood had a really good day today. I thought you could tell his technique has improved, shooting with both hands. He was getting out of his he's getting to his kick step quick on one-on-ones, and he had one guy who just pushed him around the corner. Guy couldn't get to the quarterback. And then he had some couple mauling. He was mauling guys in the run game. So I thought Leatherwood looked really good. And Brandon Parker didn't do too well in one-on-ones. I know he's going against Max Crosby most of the time, and Max Crosby was just whooping him. But if Max Crosby's going to whoop him, Joey Bosa is, So, and that's why I say that competition is not done yet, in my opinion. I don't think that competition is even close to being done, especially when there's only been 3 days of pads. And I saw Leatherwood have a good day today, and he put out some good tape for them, to look at. And I really feel like that's a point of emphasis. I just want to call that out. I thought there's a lot of offensive line movement. So because even today, Illuminor got some run with the first team a little bit in team drills, right? So he got a little bit of run there, Illuminor too. So, but it's mostly Leatherwood and Parker. And like I said, I thought Leatherwood outplayed Parker today, in my opinion. I don't know what the team thinks, but I thought he was better in every drill. And maybe those articles put something in his book. I don't know. Maybe the press conference and the questions and the competition questions probably maybe put something into him. I don't know. But he had a damn good day today. He was mauling people. you know. So, but I thought the offensive line had a good day today too. And we dog on Andre James a lot, but man, he was pretty dominant in one-on-ones, and that's not an offensive lineman drill. So I don't know if he's gonna take a next step. I know we're all worried about him, but I feel like he's kind of solidified that spot, and that's why they have Parham not working behind him anymore. That was interesting, but we'll see about that. All right. So let me get to some of these questions here. All right, keep going. How did the backup quarterbacks look? Jarrett Stidham's the backup quarterback. I'll just say that. It's going to be Jarrett Stidham. I don't know. Unless Nick Mullins or Chase Garbers has like this awesome preseason and they can't deny it, it's going to be Stidham's job. So because I'll say this, Stidham does get chances to throw to the first team. He's getting those chances. So if that tells you anything, that they just want him to be ready, have a little bit of chemistry with those guys if Derek Carr goes down. So the other guys aren't. Chase Garbers barely gets any reps, because he's a fourth string guy. I always feel bad for that. Like, how are you supposed to get better, man? Or how are you supposed to show yourself? You get no reps in practice. It's just crazy. So, it's Jarrett Stidham's job to lose, in my opinion. But yeah, it's his job to lose. I don't see how Nick Mullins really beats him out. He's not looking as impressive as Stidham is. And Stidham doesn't look impressive. I'll just say that. Hollins got a little bit of red zone work. Yeah, he's doing some fades and stuff like that. But like I said, him and Johnson were switching in with Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow. And so, they were switching that up a little bit with those two. So, those are probably the main two guys highest on the chart right now if I'm looking at the wide receivers. Because I'm going to say this, on Saturday, Johnson was not getting that run, but he did today. And he did the most of it. He had a couple touchdowns, had some good routes. So that dude, he's happy. To me, he's probably the standout player from camp because, it wasn't his job. Nobody's expecting him to take the job. And people talk about DeMarcus Robinson, Keenan Cole, Mac Hollins, everybody talking about that. And here comes Johnson. And he's running the whole route tree. And he looks explosive and he's catching everything. So I really like what I saw from him both days. How are the tight ends looking in blocking drills? I didn't get to see too many tight ends in blocking drills, but I will say Foster Moreau looks really good. Blocking, I didn't really get a chance to watch any of the other tight ends, but Foster Moreau's had 2 back-to-back good days because Darren Waller didn't practice today. He was out. I don't know if it was a rest day or whatever, but he was out. He wasn't there today, so Foster Moreau got a lot of run. And even yesterday, when he was getting some run too, so it looked like they're having some good days there with Foster Moreau. All right, what else do we got here, guys? Yeah, Stidham, just Colton Miller, like he's taking that next step. Yeah, Colton Miller, bro, he's Colton Miller's legit, bro. I don't think he got beat once. He didn't get beat once. Like even Max has trouble beating him. So Miller's taking that next step. I will say the lineman's technique is a whole lot better. That's the one thing I noticed, because that's the first thing I noticed with Leatherwood too, is that he wasn't using his inside hand. He was punching with both hands. So that was good to see, in my opinion. Do you think they will run our starting? No. I think we're going to see a lot of the backups. I don't know how much we're going to see the first team in the Hall of Fame game. I will say, Tom Brady with Josh McDaniels playing the preseason all the time, at least 2 quarters. Okay, he's playing at least 2 quarters. Tom Brady. So I'm expecting to see Derek Carr this preseason because I think that might be like a philosophy of those guys, is to have some kind of run. Because Tom Brady, if nobody's going to play in the preseason, it's going to be Tom Brady, right? What does Tom need to do in the preseason? But he always was getting run, at least 2 quarters of some type of run from Brady, right? And I don't know if that's some kind of old school type of thing. He is an old school guy, but he's 45. So they all used to play back then. So we'll see what they do with that. You feel like interior offensive line. better because yeah, I think you got a point there. I think you got a point. I thought, in one-on-ones, like I said, Matthew Butler looked really good. So did Kendall Vickers, right? But when those guys went against Parham and James, they didn't win. I didn't mention Parham. Parham looked really good at one-on-ones too. Neil Farrell is a big boy, and Dylan Parham put him in his tracks. And I'm over here talking about his play strength and stuff. Like, I don't know, I don't know, maybe he's hit the weight room or something, but he put Neil Farrell's 330-pound right in his tracks. He stopped him, right? Great technique from Parham. So I think Parham looks really good too, man. The offensive line had a good day today. I thought they looked way better with pads, in my opinion. So where's his name? Let me see. So it's Robinson, like the odd man out. I don't know. I think him and Keenan Cole are fighting for that last spot, in my opinion. Him and Cole are fighting for that last spot because I think Amir Abdullah is probably going to factor into the running game as well, which, let me get to some of these questions before I start talking about that. How confident are you in the running backs compared to last season? Let me get back to that question. Let me see. Do I have confidence in Nichols, Hankins, strong rotation? I don't know. I don't know how much confidence I have in them, to be honest. I don't have too much confidence, but Patrick Graham makes it happen with the stunts and stuff like that. And if Cleveland Farrell does make the team, or I'm just crazy, I'm not saying that, but it's a possibility. If he does, I would see him doing some stuff inside too. So let me get back to the running back question because I want to talk about that. I think it's gonna be a mixture of both. I think Jones and Max will be, because they're doing a lot of drops today. So it's gonna be a mixture of both, in my opinion. Do you think? See, I didn't notice Darian Butler the last 2 days, and everybody, Vic noticed him, and I really didn't notice it. Really didn't notice him. So, he's a smaller guy. He's real small, 5'10", 220. It's going to be hard for him to be a full-time linebacker in the NFL. So unless they want to bring him in on some sub linebacker packages, dime linebacker, it'll be interesting to see what he does, man. He's got to put some weight on, Lester Cotton, I thought Cotton had a deep. He looks better than he did last year. I'll say that. I want to see him in some real action, to be honest. But they were moving people in the line. The interior line was moving people. They were moving people today. So whatever you want to take that as, you can say the defense tackles aren't good. Say our offensive line wasn't good, but they were moving people like crazy today. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Cotton develops, right? I mean, he's impressing them. I'm not the most confident in Lester Cotton gonna be out there. I'd rather them just move Leatherwood inside if they're gonna play Parker, right? That would be my thing. Before I get to some of these other questions, I'm talking about the running backs a little bit. So I saw this question: how confident are you in the running backs compared to last season? I think the running back room is way better than it was last year. I think there's a lot of competition, to be honest. I think Zamir White looked really good today. That he had some good runs today. So did Josh Jacobs. I thought Josh Jacobs looks really fresh. He looks healthy. You guys know how he plays when he's healthy. He looks really fresh. Amir Abdullah was getting a lot of run too today. Kind of, with him and Drake were kind of like changing up a little bit, being third down backs. And I think Amir Abdullah is, with Britton Brown out and some guys missing time, I think he's starting to impress the team too, because he's getting more run than I was usually used to seeing. And I kind of ignored it yesterday. It's like, well, yeah, whatever. I mean, I keep seeing he's out there. But then today I was like, you know what? Like, he's out there a lot. So I think that's a sneaky guy to make this team, is Amir Abdullah. To be honest, I really feel like he already did, because he's getting a lot of run. Sandy Martin. No, nothing from any of those guys really caught my eye. from Myron. Nothing really caught my eye with that, to be honest. Let's see some of these other questions. Based on your observations, if you could predict LVR adding to one position before training camp, what would? To me, it's defensive tackle. If you're adding a position, it has to be defensive tackle first, right? I know the offensive line is a big question mark, but I think for this defense to be as good as they seem they can be from the edges and to the linebackers, and then the potential of the secondary, if they can get just somebody that can create pressure from the inside, is paramount to take this defense to the next level. And I think that's the only thing that's going to hold them back is the inside defense tackles, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on the linebackers to make some plays. And so that'll probably be my main observation of what position they should upgrade before training camp. I think they need that big time. How much center is Prime playing? He didn't play any center today. He didn't play any center today. He did play a good amount of center with the second team yesterday, but today he did not play center at all. Did not play center at all today. All right, let me see. Get a couple more questions from you guys. See, week 1. I don't know, man. I feel like there's gonna be some chipping. I think there's gonna be a lot of chipping this year, to be honest, guys. I mean, if you want to go over the Patriots playbook from a while ago, there's a lot of chipping. A lot of chipping, right? A lot of chipping. And I think that's what we're gonna see. All right, so let me get this before I get out of here, guys. Get some last couple questions here. What was the biggest surprise you saw in your 2 days of camp? I would say the biggest surprise, in my opinion, was Johnson. I thought he was probably my biggest surprise. I was really, I heard about his buzz a little bit, but it was kind of interesting to see the person, man. He was explosive. And, my other biggest surprise, it has to be Miradua, to be honest. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting him to be sitting next to Derek Carr a lot in shotgun. That was something I was not expecting at all, right? I was not expecting that at all, man. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Can you speak on Palomar got on a play yesterday, but he was strictly with the second team. I think he has a shot to make this team, though. I think he was getting a lot of run. I think he has a real good shot to make this team. And, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes for him. I really feel like that he has a shot. He does. Because he was playing next to Moreg on Saturday. So, any great plays from the cornerbacks today? No. They're all getting murdered today. They all it was a beat down. I think Bolden makes his team. I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like he does. I don't know why. But I wouldn't keep him. So we'll see. I mean, he's not getting a lot of run that you think he would give the first team because he knows a veteran. And they give it to Abdullah. Abdullah was interesting, man. Interesting. I couldn't believe that he was getting that much play. Caught me off guard, man. Abram, yeah, he's playing a lot of. They're mixing it up with the safeties. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, the safeties are everywhere. They're everywhere, and hopefully I don't say that. And answer James' question here. I feel like it's starting to look like a little bit of a strength. A little bit. I gotta see things flying, and I didn't see the first team out there, but yesterday they were giving those wide receivers all they could handle yesterday. And I really feel like they're at a good spot right now. So let me get a couple more questions here, guys. I hope so, Dacian. That's all I gotta say. That I hope so. And what Quincy? I mean, the only guy that I catches my eye a little bit is Sam Webb. He's a rookie. He's the only guy, really, man. I mean, everybody else is getting burned. And can I really blame them when they're going against Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow and they're running routes? You can't really blame them. So, so these last question. Yeah. I'm trying to get to. No, I'm not doing anything else here. There we go. Here we go. Favorite O line to watch today. I would say it was Leatherwood. I thought Leatherwood had a really good day, man. I really did, man. I thought he had a really good day, and that's what I was talking about. You know, we can't trade him already. I mean, it's only the third day of pads, man. Fourth day of pads tomorrow. He balls out again. I don't know. You never know. You know, what players do you want to see show out this week in the game? I want to see. I did want to see Britton Brown, but I know he's got to play. I kind of want to see Malcolm Kuntz get some runs, see what he can do out there. See some of the young defensive tackles. I'm really interested in seeing them. I want to see Matthew Butler. I want to see Farrell get some serious play out there. And then maybe check out some of these other linebackers that are playing. And then on offense, you want to see what Parham looks like because I think he's going to get a lot of play. You want to see what he looks like. Maybe Leatherwood plays a little bit. That'll tell us a lot. If Illuminor plays a lot or Leatherwood plays a lot, where those guys are really at, to be honest, too. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. All right, Garbers, probably not, man. He's not getting any run. He's not getting any run. If you don't get any run, there's really nothing you can do, I'm gonna go Bowers. That'll be my hot take to make the 53. All right, I'm gonna get one more, guys. I'm gonna get one from my guy here. Is Nate Jobs hype? Yeah, Nate, the corner that had a good play today was Nate Haas, man. He locked up Devontae Adams in the red zone, right? He's playing outside today because, of course, everybody's out. He's playing outside. He had a great. He looks like he's a totally different player. Totally different player. That's what I'm talking about. The secondary looks legit, man. What's question? I just want to talk about Abdullah and Drake, and I'll get out of here, guys. Yeah, I mean, Drake looks good, man. He looks like he always does, but it's just interesting to me that Drake was not out there with Derek Carr. That's all I gotta say. I don't know that, guys. All right, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for coming through. We got 175 today, almost 200, holding it down. Definitely we'll do more of these during the season. We had a little slow period during the summer. I mean, it wasn't too much. They ruined the draft and everything for us in off season, really. With the trade, but we're happy about that. And I really feel like this, like I said, even with some of the problems, I really feel like this is going to be a good team. And I still think fans should be excited for that. All right, guys. So hopefully I got to most of you guys' questions, man. If I didn't get to you, I apologize. But, I definitely appreciate you guys listening and checking us out. All right. So like I said, make sure you hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Support my Panda Supplements, 35% off. Go ahead and support that as well, man. And appreciate you guys. Peace.